Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to do a quick series check-in with you because now half of the year is already over. Like, honestly, where did it go? And I thought we can look at the series progress I have made so far this year. We'll talk about the series that I have started, that I have continued in, that I have finished. Then we also have some that I have read completely in the last 6 months, and last but not least, I even have one that I DNFed. So we will talk about all of this in this video. If you're interested, then stay tuned. Don't forget to give this video a like. That makes me very happy. And you can also let me know in the comments which series have you made some progress in so far this year, or is there any series that's like really exciting that you have started. But let's talk about my series progress for a second. Okay, so sadly at this moment, the series I have started is the biggest group, so let's get straight into it. First of all, I have started the Dungeon Crawler Call series. I'm very excited about that because so far I'm having lots of fun, and I even got some other people to read it and they have surpassed me by far, but they're all loving it as well, so that's really cool. So far I have read the first 2 books and the third one is on my TBR for July. We'll see how far into the series I can get this year, but I don't want to rush it. I do want to take my time because I feel like with the style that is so unique, I could burn myself out if I listen to these books too quickly in succession. So I'm taking my time with it and I am excited to continue. Next up, I started the Thessaly series by Jo Walton by reading The Just City. So this far, I have only read the first book, and this is a trilogy. I do not currently own the second and third book, and they're also a little bit hard to get hold of. There is a bind-up of all 3 books, but it looks really ugly. So maybe I'll just get the ebooks because I cannot find the matching hardcover books to my first volume, and it's driving me a little bit insane. But this is a really fun series where we have a little bit of Greek mythology and philosophy mixed up with very intriguing characters as we follow an experiment by the goddess Athena, who is collecting different people to build a city in the image of Plato's Republic. Then I started the Bunny series. Now this was a standalone, but it has gotten a sequel recently, and since I liked Bunny, I do want to read the sequel. My hold for it came in just a few days ago, so I will start that very soon, and I hope by the end of the year this can move over into the read completely section of this. Sadly, I also have the Rainwild Chronicles in this category still. I am currently 40% through the final book, so this will move over into read completely very soon. But for now, it is a started series. And this is the 4th series within the realm of the Elderlings, so you can also say I made progress in the realm of the Elderlings. In this particular series, it's a quartet with 4 books. We are following dragons and their keepers as they move through a rainforest to find a lost city. And I would highly recommend reading the Realm of the Elderlings in order, or you will miss so much. And then I have one last one that is like between started and DNFed. This is a bit dumb, but I can be a bit weird about finishing things even if I don't love it. So this would be, I think it's called the Monk and Robot series by Becky. Now I read the first novella. I was very underwhelmed by it. I didn't really understand the hype, to be honest, but I can get the second novella through my library. So if for some reason, for like a readathon or something like that, I can use the second novella, I might still finish this little duology off, even though I don't like want to. I would not buy the book. It's just because I could get it through the library that I haven't fully DNF'd this one yet. So yeah, please shout at me in the comments about that. I know I have issues. Okay, so halfway through the year, I have started 5 new series. Well done me. Now we're moving over to the continued section. So these are series that I'm already in the middle of, and I read the next book. And the first one would be the Nevermoor series, because I finally read Silverborn, the fourth book. I have been waiting for that fourth book for so many years, so it was amazing to finally have it and finally read it. Nevermoor is a series about a girl who gets swept into this magical land called Nevermoor, and she has to participate in some trials to join this magical society, and it's all about finding her place in this magical world. Then I also read the next installment in the Sworn Soldier series, What Stalks the Deep by T. Kingfisher. This is the third book in this novella series. This is horror, and we are following a person called Alex. Alex is from a fictional European country called Galatia, and there they have like more pronouns, and Alex uses neo-pronouns. So that's like a very interesting part of the series that kind of got thrown out the window a little bit in this third installment, which was a bit weird. But basically, Alex is a former soldier, and because of that, kind of genderless in the society where Alex is from. Now, in this book, we go down the mines, and it was quite creepy, but it wasn't my favorite installment in this series. And then I continued the Temperance Brennan series. I read the sixth book, I think? No. The seventh book? No. Yes, the seventh book? Oh my god. Oh, time is a concept. Yeah, I read that. It's called Monday Morning, and this is the thriller book series that the TV show Bones is very loosely based on, but it's very loose. But I still enjoy the books a whole lot, and I will definitely continue on further. So we have 3 series so far that we made progress in. Now we're moving over to the finished category. That is always very satisfying when we finish a series, so let's take a look. The first duology I finished was the I Feed Her to the Beast and the Beast is Me duology by Jamison Shea. I read the second book and finale to that. This is a YA horror series about a ballerina in Paris. I picked this first book up last year when I went to Paris, and it wasn't like my favorite YA horror, but it was a good time. It deals with like racism and also just like this drive to fulfill your dreams and how dangerous that can get. Then I finally finished reading the Simon Snow trilogy with the final book, Anyway the Wind Blows. I did reread the first 2 books at the end of last year, I think, and then I had this final book left over, and I'm so glad I finally read it. It was a little bit fan servicey. The first book is a parody of Harry Potter, but then the series tries to find its own footing. I just love the characters in this, so I didn't really care about much else, and just like where the characters ended up made me very happy. Then I also finished reading the Fallen Gods trilogy by Hana. So I reread the first 2 books and then read the finale for the first time. Sadly, the direction this series went in wasn't my favorite. Like, the finale wasn't my favorite because it got a little bit like war and military-esque, and that's not really what I enjoy a whole lot in my fantasy reading. Nonetheless, this was an interesting series. In the beginning, we follow a god killer called Kissen going around the world and killing gods before they get too powerful, but then Kissen and her travel mates get wrapped up in like very big, very potential end of the world kind of stuff. And then lastly, for the finished category, we have the Bride duology by Ali Hazelwood. I don't know if she will ever write more in this world because we have Bride and Mate, and I consider it finished for now because I haven't heard anything about more sequels. Sadly, Mate was not for me. It was very disappointing, so either way I probably wouldn't read more. In Bride Bride, we had originally looked at this world where we have humans, werewolves, and vampires, and they're all kind of mistrusting each other and kind of at war, but they have these things in place to keep the peace. And one of these things is our main character in Bride, who is a vampire who is then promised to a werewolf. So their marriage is supposed to keep the peace, basically. But Maid just didn't have the spark, and that was very sad. So for this first half of the year, we are at 4 series that I have finished. Now onto my favorite category, and that is the read completely category. So that means I have read all the books in the series within the past 6 months. The first one I have is the Raybearer duology. This is written by Jordan Ifueko, and in this one we follow this girl who has been raised in a very isolated way, and she gets told by her mother that she is supposed to go to the palace to become kind of a confidant and a council member to the future emperor, but the real goal is that she kills him. And this was interesting. It wasn't like my favorite YA fantasy series, but it definitely had interesting elements, and it had very good asexual representation as well. And then the other one I have here is the Magebike duology, and this one I very much loved, to be honest. So in this one we have The Road to Ruin as the first book, and this is usually compared to Mad Max Fury Road. We have a world that is a massive wasteland, and we have individual cities called Couriers that are protected by magic from these magical storms, and we have Magebike couriers who just carry goods and other things between the Couriers, and our main character Jinlu is one of those couriers, and she secretly passes letters from the prince of one of the Couriers to the princess of another one. And it's all about this world, what happened to it, where does the wasteland come from, what can people do about it, and so on. So far we have only read 2 series completely this year, and both of them were duologies, so I hope to work on this part much more in the second half of the year. And last but not least, we have one DNF series, and that is the Tomes and Tea series. So I read the first book, You Can't Spell Treason Without Tea. This is a cozy fantasy series that is compared to Legends and Lattes, but for me it did not work at all. I did not like the 2 main characters. I did not like their relationship. This book in general did not feel cozy to me at all, and yeah, it was just a very big disappointment. And I think there's 4 books in the series. I could get the second book through my library, but really I do not want to do this to myself. I don't think I would end up enjoying anything in that series, really. So in the end, just 1 series DNF'd so far. Maybe we will find more of those in the rest of the year as well. So this is where my series reading is at. I would love to hear what you have to say about your series reading. Do you think I'm doing a good job so far? I would love to know what you think, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!